Hello, investors. This is Ted Zhang, Portfolio Manager at Revere Asset Management. Today is Tuesday, September 30th, 5:59 p.m. coming to you from New York City, New York. State of the market, we are still in an uptrend. Market leaders still with the green arrow, but we have a yellow sub arrow as we've seen some pockets of weakness. Names like Reddit, CRDO, INOQs pulling back, uh, and some other names as well, cracking Oracle. But we are seeing some strength as well, like Nvidia as well, like BE, pulling back and rallying back all the way up to almost the highs. Short term, may caps below the 21 EMA or just right around there. But that is why we have the yellow sub arrow. Medium term trend, all major indexes above the 50-day, and long term trend, all major indexes above the 200-day moving average. So what happened today? Strong close after a mostly quiet day. And we'll show that on the intraday charts. Government shutdown looms. So 20 over 21 list up 0.52%. 11 stocks up, 2 neutral, 8 down. Turbo 12 up 1.32%. 7 stocks up, 0 neutral, 5 down. Big 8 up 0.04. RG8 up 0.10. S&P up 0.41%. RSP up 0.26%. Q's up 0.27%, QQW down 0.10%, Dow Jones up 0.18%, mid caps up 0.07%, small caps up 0.05%, global 60/40 equities bonds up 0.24%, GROTECTION up 0.92%, and Turbo up 1.01%. So jumping right into it, as always, starting off with the chart of the S&P 500. It's the weekly chart. Just really nice trend ever since the V-shaped recovery, trending above the 10-week moving average. Look at the daily, found support the 21 EMA, quickly reclaimed the 8, put in a really tight day yesterday, and now an end of quarter. You can see some inflows, higher volume day above previous high of the day. If we go in the intraday chart, you can see essentially we base sideways. And in the afternoon, we got a strong close. It's really great action right there. RSP continues to form this handle. Really, really tight action here. It looks extremely explosive over 190 key. The Qs, same action. Undercut, reclaim the 8. Close back above 600. And now on the 60-minute, we have this cup with handle flag formation as well. So looking good, but didn't close above previous high of the day. QQEW, yesterday we made an all-time high there. Today we bounced off the 8 EMA, still above the 140 base. So that is strong as well. Looks good that Breath and other names are participating. Dow Jones just continues to trend in this channel above the 21 EMA. So great action there. Mid caps in this channel right here. Finding support at the 50, closing right at the 21, but still declining 8 above. And this is kind of a rounded kind of formation, but we'll see if we can continue higher here, and that would be great for the markets. IWM, we had a failed breakout into all-time highs, pulled back to 21 EMA, found support, and really starting to build a flag here now. A series of higher lows and lower highs, so we'll see if we can reclaim the 8 EMA and resolve higher. The VIX at a 16 handle, that's fine. Anything below 20 is fine. Of course, we'd love to see this 10 to 14 range, but that really only happens in the most linear and smooth trends. So we're content where the VIX is currently. The dollar tried breaking above the 50-day moving average, but found resistance and actually closed right at the 8 and 21, and perhaps we'll start to see the dollar break down again. So inversely, gold made a new all-time high. Just what a trend above the 8 EMA. Super linear. Look at this. It's 5 weeks in a row out of this massive flat base. Just beautiful action. And there's a base that we're going to cover in the second or later that's quite reminiscent of the gold flat base as well. These rectangle ones are the best. You can see rectangular base. Hold on, let me go back to gold. Rectangular bases. Those are often just the most successful and best types of patterns. SLV had a variation of its own, smaller, but still very powerful, over 20% move up from there. In crypto land, Bitcoin continued to hold 109,000, reclaimed 110 and 112. and actually closed above all key moving averages by the 4 p.m. close today. Ethereum found support at this multi-year breakout level, reclaimed it, and so far reclaimed 4,100 and undercut reclaimed this level, now back above the 8 EMA as well. Solana pulled back, broke the 50, but reclaimed the 50 and a 210 level. So that is a crypto update. And finally, for the inter-asset correlation, bonds really didn't do much today. Closed flat, 10 years up a basis point at 4.15%. So with that being said, that wraps up for the tail of the tape. I want to head over to that wraps up the inter-asset correlation, and let's head over to the tail of the tape now. And there's definitely a decent amount of news I wanted to cover today, so let's get right into it. We're still under the bull case, rallying above the 21 EMA. First news up, we had consumer confidence, which came in below expectations. 94.2 versus 96. We had JOLTS, job openings, labor turnover, stronger than expected, 7.2 million job openings versus 7.1 million expected. And then we have a potential government shutdown, which is currently sitting at, on Kalshi betting site, 85% odds that we're going to see a government shutdown. The Senate votes at 5:30, and there's no resolution with 60 votes. The government officially shuts down at midnight. And finally, we have the Trump pharma news, where he's partnering with Pfizer to provide cheap drug costs through the Trump RX direct-to-consumer market. He's threatening to post tariffs on other pharmaceutical companies if they don't produce in the United States, manufacture in the United States, and reduce their drug prices. So he's tackling pharma and pharmaceutical prices. Today's keys, we're watching the S&P versus the 8 EMA and 21 EMA. We closed above both. We're watching the Qs versus the 8 EMA and 21 EMA. We also closed above both. Russell still closed below the 8, but above the 21. Day count up 2 to up 3. 3 days above the 8 EMA, 20 days above the 21 EMA. Short-term expectations are positive. Action today, like I said, we based and then we saw a strong close. S&P ATR dropped 0.02%, but not significant, so we kept the neutral arrow. And then strong sectors. Bond yields are up, so bonds were down. Healthcare, industrials, tech were up. RG, pharma was up, like I talked about the Trump pharma news, and semis was up, SMH. The dollar was down, oil and gas was down, regional banks and cloud computing were down as well. In GROTECTION, we added to NVIDIA and bought PPH and beat E, 1.6 beta, 6.87% open heat. And actually, the first name I did want to talk about was NVIDIA. That looked like gold. You can see this flat base right here, 8 to 9 week flat base. Gold was a lot longer, but it has the same sentiment, and we broke above that 185 level. So great action, all-time high close for NVIDIA. That's definitely helping the indexes. We bought PPH. This is a reversal, breaking above this 9.3 level. Huge volume coming in as well. A lot of tailwinds or headwinds out of the way. And then BE was a buy above previous high of the day. And this is a highly shorted name. So this actually squeezed back to highs. These high momentum names pull back to 21 EMA and then often can make these types of movements back to the highs. I still do expect some sort of basing action when you have this big break on volume. In Turbo, we also added to NVIDIA, which we just talked about. We also bought some MU, 1.87 beta, 6.4% open heat. Let's go to MU. You can see it is a short flag, but these memory names have been really strong, like MU, SNDK, which actually reversed table was strong yesterday, STX, which continued higher. So this theme is strong, names are working, and we took a position there. Bottom line, strong close after a mostly quiet day and government shutdown looms. We'll see what happens overnight. We'll find out tomorrow. So that wraps up the tail of the tape. I just wanted to cover one more thing with news. Actually, two more things. First one is CoreWeave. Saw another rumor to have another multi-billion-dollar deal, and this time with Meta. And CoreWeave was up 11.7% today, but keeps rejecting this 140-ish area. And then after the close day, LAC, government's taking a 5% equity stake in LAC and 5% equity stake in their Nevada mine. And this is up 31% back to these highs after hours. So government continuing these public-private partnerships, taking equity stakes positions like in Intel, like in LAC, all critical infrastructure for AI and really for national security. Rare earth minerals is critical. Same with AI infrastructure, chips as well. I wouldn't be surprised if they start taking more positions in energy companies too. So that wraps up the news section of the video, at least the most important news. And I just want to talk about LAC here. I'll analyze the chart. Broke above this big weekly base, retested it. Government scooped up some shares from after putting some pressure on this name, and we're up 32% after hours, looking to make new highs here. This has a lot of range to go, so it's really extended now. Really just have to wait for another entry, and remember it's low price, so we don't really buy anything under $10. NVIDIA flat-based breakout, closing all-time highs like I talked about, and why I have the big three right here, the big three market cap companies in the world. NVIDIA just broke out of an 8-week base in the new all-time highs. Microsoft is forming this really low cheat in this 8-9 week base, looking to break out as well. And then Apple, really strong, forming a handle at previous all-time highs, looking to break out of this base that extends all the way back to December 2024, almost a 1-year base. So with these $3 trillion plus companies looking to break out, it's hard to see the S&P and NASDAQ head anywhere unless they just have outright failures. We talked about core news already. So now just the 21 over 21 list. Let's go to the top 5 winners and top 5 losers. CoreWeave, like I talked about, the Meta rumored deal. It had OpenAI, which failed here, as well as NVIDIA. So what is it going to take for CoreWeave to actually get moving? Not sure, but you want to see even more powerful action on these multi-billion-dollar deals. Hood, CEO of Lab, talks about betting markets, and Kalshi has been all the rage lately. People are really getting interested in these betting markets, gambling. People are making money on the wildest bets, like betting on New York City's next day's weather, betting on whether Elon tweets 10 times a day or 15. It's pretty crazy now what you can bet on. You can make markets for anything. STX makes new all-time high, up 3.3%. NVIDIA up 2.6% in all-time highs. ME already talked about it. Palantir forming this cup with handle. It is, as you can see, it's a 5th stage late base. So it'll be more of a swing trade than anything, but it's well worth the opportunity if it does break out and moves. So that is Palantir. Let's look at the next one. MBIZ up 1.9%, makes a new high, but reverses. And yeah, just great action all around right here. ANET building a flag, but this has historically been quite choppy. And on the downside, we have Reddit below the 8 and 21. We rallied into the declining 8 and rejected. Looks like a trip to the 50 is coming. SoFi breaks the 21 EMA on volume. Carvana forming a handle still, but just meandering around this 400 level. Need to see what happens there. MDB cracks the 21 as well, actually closed 0.3% above, but having this rounded formation is not the best look. You want to see more power in earnings gappers. Net, really choppy action, breaking the 8 and 21 as well. LEU, just normal action, inside day above the 8 today. In Turbo 12, BE was up 15% today, back to new highs. Nice buy from Don and GROTECTION. Soon was up 2.55% today, off the 21 EMA. And yeah, Undercut reclaimed. The Undercut reclaimed 15.5, bounced off the 21 EMA. And actually, this upside reversal looks pretty good for potential add back or a buy tomorrow. So we'll see what happens there. METC was up 2.2%, found support the 8, heads higher. IRN just continues to trend along the 8 EMA, even after pulling back and putting in this like more railroad tracking 2 days. ME already talked about it. KRMN up 1.2%. Inside day. SCCO strong with copper. Undercut reclaim 120, well above the 8 EMA. PAAS found support the 8 EMA. CRDO rejected the 8, back below 21. Starting to see a wall of red here. which is not the best sign. Baidu potentially forming a flag right here. Bearish engulfing though, so it definitely needs a little more time. And the BMNR gets extremely, extremely tight, below the 8, but above the 21 and 50, and holding support at the 50 level as well. And finally, INQ just pulling back, still a quite linear pullback, giving about half its move. $60 right here, 20 EMA supporting it, up 1.22% after hours. But I would love to see a more developed flag form. This pullback is actually a potential opportunity, especially on contracting volume at the 60 level. So we'll see what happens there. That is the place to try it if you didn't miss it, 50% pullback. So definitely have that potentially on watch. It has extreme momentum for sure. And yeah, that wraps up the Turbo 12, the 21/21, the major news items of the day. What to look out for: government shutdown. And if it does, we might not see the rest of the economic data for the week, like ADP employment, various ISM, construction, manufacturing spending, and the most important one, the BLS labor market data, which is what the Fed is watching closely in relation to inflation to see the balance of risks. So with that being said, I'm going to wrap up today's video. This Tuesday, September 30th. If you have any questions or want to become a client, please email me at ted@revereasset.com. Twitter is and X is Ted H. Zhang. Phone is 855-REAL-WEALTH. That is 855-732-5932. Website is revereasset.com. And our social medias are our social medias of YouTube, X, Instagram, and TikTok is at Revere Asset. So please like, share, and subscribe. And this is Ted Zhang, portfolio manager at Revere Asset, telling it like it is. Thank you for listening and have a great rest of your day.